Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Battlegrounds tournament match, and this is a tournament I have participated in the past. I just didn't post my video on it. And we have matched Monke Monsta in the first round, not someone I'd ever heard of, and he did have a decent amount of 5 stars in his deck. So I definitely have the roster advantage here. So I chose to ban his rank 4 Ultron and his rank 3 Scorpion. I wasn't sure if Mordo was rank 3 or rank 4. I think it was just a high PI rank 3, but I did not want to deal with Mordo, so I banned him, and he banned Tigra, Skrull, and Kingpin. Skrull is a really good ban in the current meta, but I actually have... I thought he would ban my Hulkling. I have Hulkling, and he doesn't have Hulkling. So I was really kind of surprised by the Tigra ban, and honestly by the other ban as well. I just expected that I wouldn't have my Hulkling. But in this first one, the draft is just finishing up, and I didn't get any good counters to his Cersei other than Mephisto, because I really would prefer to use Man-Thing defensively. So first up here, I am going to throw my Man-Thing on defense. I knew he would use Mr. Negative, but I thought that I could maybe kill whoever he put down a little faster. If you put down his Man-Thing, I would have a good shot at beating it with... you'll see. So I have Bishop here versus Nick Fury. After he got CGR, there was really no point in me placing Bishop on defense because he would just get beaten in 35 seconds. I didn't want that, so I'm going to use him on offense. I get pretty bad RNG, and he gets a Fury right off the start. But because he's nice about it, he actually lets me push him to a special 2. We trigger our decks just to stop his power gain, trying to bait an L2 here. If we hadn't done that, he would have gotten to L3 there, so that was really nice. And then here we are almost able to throw our L2, and here we are. We're going to throw our L2. Unfortunately, it does not take away his first life. If I would have got a crit on the last hit and the Incinerate was doing more, definitely would have taken out his first life. Just a little bit unlucky. And then there, I actually get pushed. He gets pushed to an L3 because he just wouldn't throw a special attack. Unfortunate, so I dash in, trying to... I honestly don't know what I was doing, but I do tank an L3. And I got parried before it, so he is able to come in and hit me with a combo. We dex the L1 in the corner, and it just so happens to tick him over into his second life right as I was countering, so I wasn't able to hit him. But here, really, I just need to get to my L2 and throw it. And we do throw that, and it does kill him. So that fight could have been way faster, and I should have ended with about 95% health, but it didn't matter because even if that fight went perfectly, I was not beating the time set by Mr. Negative there. I was actually throwing this round, which is why I used Bishop on offense. Obviously, if I was going for speed, both Hulkling, Hercules, and honestly probably Angela would have been faster than that. I throw out Mephisto on defense because I knew I had this second round one. I just wanted to see who he would use. And here I have to fight Man-Thing with Angela. I know this matchup, and I know what I'm doing. I just have to stick to my strategy. I actually did forget that he was armor break immune very briefly, so I did throw one special attack that was not an L3, but after that I remembered what I was doing. I don't think I forgot it. I just think I was not really... that's not what I was focused on in the moment. So here, once he throws the L2, I'm pretty sure I throw an L2. Yeah, I do. And I was like a millisecond away from being an L3 too. But my Angela is Sig 183, which means that with 3 buffs, I can't get nullified. Can't get auto block, no damaging debuffs, anything like that. Which means that I can just beat the hell out of Man-Thing and not worry about ever getting nullified. The only thing I have to worry about is either the postules or my own personal buffs expiring. But my L3 actually hits really hard. It does 25k. That's from 2 aptitudes in the Fury. That's why it's hitting that hard. So here we chain a combo. The bleed vulnerability actually doesn't really do anything on Angela, but that's just, what I put on for the combo there. And then here we are actually going to throw our second L3, and with 3 aptitudes and a fury, I know this is easily killing. It is nowhere near not killing. It would probably do another 6-7%. I was just doing that extra combo to be safe. I didn't think that he would be able to beat what I did with Hercules, and honestly, I think even with a clean fight, he probably still couldn't, but he did actually die. So we took round 2. We're going into round 3. I chose to put Havoc on defense here because I was expecting him to go with Cersei on defense, but he actually doesn't. In my opinion, that was a mistake because Hercules versus Doom is a lot easier than Hercules versus Cersei. But you know what? I'll take it. I did tell him afterwards I thought that was a mistake, and that he had a good chance to win if he had placed the right champion. So we're going to build up our charges right here by going for these light intercepts while I have an Infuriate up. And then here we are, of course, going to try to land our L1, but unfortunately he throws L1 while I'm blocking. So I'm just going to push him to one more L1, and then now I'm just going to wait him out so that I can intercept him with my L1. I could do it right here, and I do actually time it pretty well. And we are actually gaining power. We're going to land an open intercept here, a naked intercept, just because I was pretty sure I was going to kill with this L2. I didn't, but I got close enough, and you'll see what happens. I want to go for another combo here, but unfortunately he throws the L2 again while I'm blocking. We do the partial dex because I'm pretty sure I have this round 1. I don't think there's any way he's going to match what I did, and I was right. I knew he would take Havoc fast, but there's just no way to avoid the explosion damage unless you take hits to the face. So either way, you're losing health, probably 30% minimum if you take a combo. And yeah, we do end up winning round 1. So we did a coin flip to determine who invited first, and he actually won, or like I flipped it, but it got tails. And so he invited first. So this game I'm inviting first. And in this meta, I am going to draft Hulkling every single time because he is just so good. I was thinking about taking Bishop here, but I ended up taking Apocalypse just because I thought Bishop would be too easy for champions like CGR, Herc, and Rocket, and he had 3 of those. 2 of those he drafted right after, but even Rocket, I think Rocket probably takes a little longer against Apocalypse than he does Bishop. But here we actually get to draft Bishop in our last pick, which is pretty nice. So I'm not loving my draft here. I think this is the only round I got out-drafted. I have no one for Man-Thing other than Claire, and if you want to fight Man-Thing with Claire, it's a very slow fight to stay in poison mode, and you're going to see that. He's going to throw out Herc versus Nick Fury, so I'm pretty sure I'm beaten. I was just taking a look at his other champions and deciding if I would use Claire for any of them, and I realized no. Not a single champion realistically he might place I would actually use Claire for. So I'm going to throw out Claire here now. Of course I'm going to try to stay in poison mode. We intentionally do not parry at the start of the fight to bait out a heavy just to take advantage of that MD, and we are going to do that one more time in the fight. I think that was a pretty big mistake on my part that I didn't do it more. I could have been doing it a lot more, and it was definitely worth the damage that I take because Man-Thing hits like a noodle. But of course we're going to just stick to throwing the L2s here. He does not have 5 out of 5 MD. I'm pretty sure he is 4 out of 5. I could be wrong and he might have 5 out of 5 and I just am reading it wrong. But that's what it felt like. It felt like his power gain wasn't quite 5 out of 5. And now, as you see right here, I'm over a third of the way into the fight and he is still at 3/4 health. So I really need to start hitting a lot more. That was probably a mistake right there. I probably should have gone for an L2, but my L3 actually does really good damage, so I guess it wasn't even that bad. It gets him from 68% all the way down to, I believe it's 45. Yeah, so that's a good 23% of his health for almost a 40k L3. Honestly, probably would have been faster if I only went L3s in this fight. 4 L3s and he would have died with my basic hits in there to get me to the special. Yeah, that would have been smarter, but it's not what I do. I'm going to throw L2s here, and with 30 seconds left and 30% left, I realize that I am catching back up. So I really just need to throw one more L2. He throws this, and I actually did switch into Incinerate for that one special 2 to get it to do more. Not on the last L2, but the one right before that. And it actually did give me enough damage, and I didn't lose any, that I was able to finish out with 100%. But yeah, I knew I would lose that one. He looks like he took either a special 1 to the face or a full combo, or maybe the tail end of an L2, because he did lose quite a bit of health for that matchup. But he still won because he was just way faster. I had no one that could take Man-Thing very quickly. So I put Korg on defense here. I was expecting him to use Bishop, but he actually decides to throw this round to give himself a better chance at round 3 with Rocket Raccoon. So I knew that regardless of who he used, he wouldn't be able to match me. So with me seeing he had CGR left, I realized, okay, it's time to use Bishop. He's of no use to me in round 3, either defensively or offensively. And we are just going to take this fight slow because I was not too worried about losing on time. We do get pretty bad RNG where he gets a Fury right off the bat, so he's going to be gaining power, but really the strat is just throw one L2 and that should almost kill him. He's not going to want to throw specials, and there we actually do trigger our regens. But the unfortunate thing about AI that throws their specials is that I don't get a chance to build up my prowesses. So there I just parried twice. And then here, he's just going to be an idiot, and he's going to waste 10 seconds of my time not throwing a single special while I just dash around, and then I realize when that Incinerate ends and he's at 12%, yeah, I could have gone for it, and I could have finished this fight 10, 12 seconds faster. But it didn't matter because I came out with full health, and I knew that Torch versus Korg on a good day is a 60-second fight with perfect play. So I wasn't too worried about losing that round, but I was taking a look at it here, and I kept going back and forth between who I should place on defense. When I saw him place Bishop, I realized I had to use Hulkling on offense. I know that Longshot just shreds Cersei in probably under 30 seconds, and I thought CGR versus APOC would be a little slower, so all I have to do here with my Hulkling is not eat an L2. Now let me tell you, I have done this matchup about 3 or 4 times in this meta. I've eaten an L2 from Bishop in all but one, and I wish I could say I was kidding. I'm not. So I love to eat Bishop's L2 to the face. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a hobby of mine. So I go ahead and block, will get an L2, and look at what I do. I dash in. Oh, look at that. Smart. Go for a light intercept, thinking I would outrange the first hit of his L2, and I didn't. And if I'd landed that light intercept, I would have won. And instead I lose. To be fair, he had a really, really nice fight with CGR against rank 4 Apocalypse, but I did lose. And I would have won if I hadn't eaten that L2, and because if he had just let me intercept him there, I would have thrown my special and he would have dropped, and I would have won. But, he had a really nice fight, and he ties it up 1-1. We're going into round 3 here, and there's one round where I just stack my defense like crazy. It's not this round. But we do get both Hulkling and Man-Thing here, which is just beautiful. Beautiful start to my draft. Can't really get much better drafts. I did actually just take Cersei up to rank 3 and level her up today from the ISO I got from the side quests. So, or rather from dupes from the side quest Cav Crystal. And then here I decided to take double Mystics at the end just to cover any potential champions he would pick up here. My plan is to keep to keep Hood for Cersei, and Claire would just be used, I don't know where, but somewhere. I put out Cersei on defense. I expected him to use Diablo, and I knew that if he did use Diablo, he was completely screwed against my Man-Thing because he had no one else. He decides to use Archangel versus Cersei, and I know that matchup. I have done it before, although currently I don't run Cersei. I have done it in other metas. or sorry, I don't run Archangel currently because I only have a 5-star. And here I get pretty bad AI, and he actually intercepts me right there, but being Hercules, I'm going to heal from the DOT, and I'm still at 99%, so I land the L1. Now, normally when I land the L1 here, I'm around 8 or 9 of my charges, and I'm only at 4, so I try to hold my heavy to get 2 there. I threw it a little bit early, but here I'm going to get a few more charges before throwing my L2. And then we're going to throw our L2, and this is actually going to push into the second life. And with the power gain you get, that is actually the smart way to do this fight. You can, and you should, for other metas, not throw your L2 until the second life and use it to drain the second life. But in this meta, it's actually faster if you throw the L2. So we finished that one. Nice fight, and Cersei held up just enough to get us the win by just over 600 points. And I thought I had a pretty good shot of actually winning round 2 here. I didn't have to throw a round, so I'm actually going to place Man-Thing. And I knew he would use Diablo, but with an unduped Diablo without suicides and low MD, there's no way he's beating whoever. Like, no matter who he puts down here, I would have won. If he puts down Cersei, I go Hood. If he puts down Bishop, I go Hulkling. He put down Herc, so I went Hood again. This match is also not going to go perfectly, but I know the matchup of Diablo versus Man-Thing well. It can be over in 45 seconds if you're using suicides and you have full MD, but it can also take double that if you don't have suicides and you don't have full MD. So that's what I was counting on. I was counting on this fight to go a little bit longer just so that I'm able to kill his Hercules, and I actually get pretty bad RNG where he does actually dash back at the start of the fight, which is really annoying. And also, he's not really throwing his specials. There he is. But here, in hindsight, I should have thrown my heavy. I didn't. It would have been smarter because then I would have just been able to focus on having my Fate Seal up at the end of the fight, because, spoiler alert, I'm going to mess that up. And then here again, I could have gone for heavy. I did actually try to go for 1 heavy, but unfortunately the Infuriate failed it. Then here I go for a heavy intercept. What is this boy doing? He is just sitting there. So I throw it, and eventually it works, but he's not Fate Sealed anymore. So I need him to throw the L2. He does right before he gets to an L3. But now I'm trying to either rush to my own L2 or just wait out his immortality. We go in, throw the L2 immediately, and we get him down probably 30 seconds longer than the fight needed to take. But when I realized he wasn't finished at that point, I knew I had won. So we are up 2-1 against Monsta, and we head into round 4 here. So the quality on this one's not as good. It wouldn't let me upload it to my computer, so I had to upload it as a YouTube video on my phone and then open in Manage Videos and download the file. And downloaded files off of YouTube just don't come with the same quality, so that's just unfortunate. This was like immediately after. It's just that 4th round would not load, and I don't know why. So this is the round where I just absolutely stock the hell out of my defense. Early on, I have already 4 defenders. Obviously, Hercules is a very good attacker as well, as is Cersei if you know how to use her, which I don't. But I saw that he got Cersei, so I pick up my Hood to deal with that. I pick up my Nick Fury just to delay the fight. And really, at this point, I'm pretty happy about everything. I just want to pick up one half-decent option for Man-Thing. I get Human Torch. Now, there are obviously a lot of champions I would have preferred. For example, I run a rank 4 Doom in this deck, didn't get banned, and I didn't get him a single time. And I would have loved to get Doom over Torch for that Man-Thing. But unfortunately, it just didn't happen. I thought he would probably use his Torch here against my Korg. He actually goes for CGR. And with me having just done the fight of Hercules versus Nick Fury, I'm going to go for that matchup again. And this one actually goes a lot better. So I decide not to go for heavy tech because I realize the value in getting these intercepts is a lot more. But I got still really bad AI, just not fitting into my intercepts. We throw the L1. Again, we're at low charges. We're only at 4. I'd say the average I get to in most matchups is like 8, 9 maybe. So I was just getting really bad luck. Here, I didn't push to the special, so I need to hit into the block a little bit, but I realized I got to my L2, so I'm just going to throw the L2 when he dashes at me, push him into his second life, and then bait the special, while at the same time I'm passively getting power back from the nodes. So here I'm going to go medium, light, dash back, inflict the infuriate, and because I already have my 3 precisions up, there is no reason to intercept with the L2. I had both my precisions and my cruelty still up. He actually has a pretty nice fight. I'm kind of impressed that he finished with that much health in 59 seconds with CGR against Korg, as that fight can take a while. But here he places Man-Thing. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to go Cersei and then go Man-Thing from my Cersei. But I'm going to go Torch versus Man-Thing, and I have to fight against Torch versus Cersei. And let me tell you, what happens in this fight, I have never seen before. I've seen something like it. I've never seen something this bad. So I knew he had low MD. I was confident in this matchup. So I'm going to be doing shortened combos and blocking to make sure that I can push to the special. There I did. And watch this. I don't even need to say anything. You'll see what happens. You want to throw a special? Hey, Man-Thing. Are you playing or are you just dashing back? Hello? Hello? Man-Thing. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you got to push me to my L3 first, though. So, he didn't throw his special for 34 seconds. I looked at the time of the clock when he reached an L2 and when he threw it, 34. Not only did I lose out on the damage because he could, when he originally got to that L2, he was at 9 power stings. 9. I lost out on all of that damage. I lost out on 30 seconds of the fight, and I lose by 700. Now you may be wondering, what's the math on how many points I would have got? 55.5 thousand. I missed out on over 5,000 points because of 34 seconds, plus the damage I lost. I would have beaten him by 4,000 if Man-Thing had just thrown that special within the first 5 seconds. And instead we go to round 3. So I have Hood up against Sorcerer Supreme. I placed my Man-Thing on defense. I know he had absolutely no one he could use. So I knew he was either dying or he was losing a lot of health. Or timing out, maybe. Probably not timing out because he was using Dead Widow. But I'm using Hood versus Sorcerer. And Sorcerer is a beefy, little, annoying champion. I love her, offensively. But on the defense, she's kind of beefy. She is going to throw her special. She's going to be pretty nice about that. But this fight's just going to take a while because Sorcerer's special 1 animation is really long. So we're just going to throw L2s. I'm thinking it might take 3 L2s and then I can throw my heavy. So that's my second one there. I'm going to bait this L2 and just keep hitting her. But it's been 50 seconds and she's at 40%. Or she's at 50%. I throw my third special, 31 charges, go for my heavy attack. Of course she doesn't go for it. So I go for another one. Of course not. But I knew that I had my miss, so I could afford to do that because even the special wouldn't land. And now we're down to 45 seconds left. So I'm desperately trying to throw my heavy here. I finally land a parry, and it doesn't even kill. So now I'm trying to rush back to another special 2, and look at what happens. I'm at my special 2. I do a combo, and it gets me to an L3. So I throw my L3, and at this point I realize if he had a perfect fight with perfect RNG, he just beat me. And I load in, and he didn't. Okay, so I win. I defeat Monsta with a score of 3-1. Overall, I'm just not very happy with the way that I played. I'd say I probably would rate my play in this like a solid 7 out of 10. Really not well. Especially the bishop fight. God awful bishop fight. That was really the only fight I massively messed up. The only other mistakes were AI. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in round 2 video. Bye.